Warning: this program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The date is March 14th, 2015, and we are finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mick McMichaels checking in with you, and oh my goodness, I got goosebumps down my neck and down my spine and up my arms. 5 years, 5 long years since ECW has had an episode on the YouTube airwaves, and my goodness, let me tell you firsthand, the ovation in here and the energy is something you cannot replace. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Long-time viewers and new viewers, I'd like to thank you personally from the bottom of my heart for tuning into this show tonight and tomorrow. Whenever you decide to watch this show, I'd like to thank you for being a part of ECW. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so much in store for you, not only tonight, but for the future of ECW, and I am so excited to tell you what we have in store tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrant versus Brent in a Hell in a Cell match. And to go with that, we have an 8-man championship tournament for the ECW title. Now, it doesn't get any bigger than that. I will explain everything to you as the night goes on. But like I said, this night is going to start off with a bang, and who better than the Misfits? Now, as some of you may recall, longtime viewers, there's no way you don't know who these guys are. But for those of you just joining us, and this is your first episode, or you're a little unclear, the man up front with the sweet mohawk, he must have just colored that tonight. Wow, that's impressive. The man in front is Flair. The man to the left with the sweet fedora on, that is Piss. And of course, on the right, that is Dixie, the longtime manager of the Misfits, and ex-women's champion, let me remind you. The Misfits as well are ex-tag team champions in ECW. Now, if I didn't say it before, every single title is vacant, ladies and gentlemen. No title holders exist in ECW at this point in time. If you want a title in ECW, you are going to have to earn it right up from the bottom. Everybody else, not a single holder in the ECW. Oh, God damn it. Every time, 5 years later, ladies and gentlemen, and that noise still gets to me. Of course, we have the faction here. Long-time feuding members, Prototype and Wesley Underhook there in the long-sleeve shirt. Long-time feuding members of the Misfits. And of course, who better than to kick off the show than a rivalry like this one? The faction and the Misfits have been back and forth for years. For years, they have been back and forth. So, I don't see a better fit to have the faction versus Misfits in our opening match for the tag team titles. Let me remind you. We're also going to see a tag team title match to kick off the night, and of course they're vacant. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even 8 minutes into the night, and I am feeling like I am out of words. You know what? Let's be honest. I'm out of practice. It's been 5 long years since I've done this whole commentating thing, so you know, I'll warm up, I'll get into it, but of course I have a match to call here, so what better practice than to do that? So of course, kicking off the match here, we have Flair going up against Prototype of the faction. Dixie, of course, in the corner of the Misfits. Piss in the corner of Flair, and Wesley Underhook in the opposing corner. So many new things, so many new exciting things to tell you, the fans, about going into tonight, and of course I will try my best to get through it all. We have so much ahead of us tonight, including the massive Hell in a Cell match of Tyrant and Brent. If you guys recall, that is a rematch from the Great American Bash. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know where to begin. We're already almost 8 minutes into this show, and I can't believe we're here. Let's just be honest. It's been 5 long years, and if I could remind everybody, we're starting with a clean slate entirely. So that means no titles belong to anybody. This is a title match just as much as a title match later tonight, which we will see. We will see a triple threat hardcore title match for the ECW hardcore title, and oh my god, of course we have that tournament that I mentioned earlier very briefly. There's so much to get through. If we can get through this first episode, we can do anything. I guarantee it. We have the 8-man ECW Championship tournament, which will span over a few episodes, but of course, on our next CPV, which will be in 4 episodes, we will have the finalists of that match go up against each other, whoever they may be, go up against each other and compete for the ECW Championship. Now, if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what does. Again, we will of course revisit that graphic and see exactly who the combatants are. 2 of those matches are tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler alert: Colossus will be going up against Chad, and what more can I say about that? The largest superstar in ECW is here, and he's going up against another fan favorite, of course, Chad. So we'll get to see them in action later tonight. And of course, we have the Hell in a Cell match between the 2 monsters of ECW, Tyrant versus Brent, in a Hell in a Cell. And oh my god, Flair coming out of nowhere. Excuse me. And now Wesley Underhook knocked out of the ring. And now Flair just outside the ring here. And wait a second, and a DDT by Piss. Look at that, a DDT by Piss. And wait, we got a pin here. 1, 2, and Wesley, and a 3! Ladies and gentlemen, the Misfits, in a quick victory, are your new ECW Tag Team Champions. Holy moly, I did not see that coming. Flair took advantage of Wesley Underhook being outside the ring, and look at this, just a split second too late for Wesley Underhook. And wow, what a victory for the Misfits. Ladies and gentlemen, the Misfits are your new tag team titles. I couldn't even keep up with that. Holy moly. And of course, Prototype there not too happy about that loss. They could have had the tag team titles tonight, but they don't because they're the faction and they suck. No, I promised myself this year I would not have any bias. I would not have any bias towards the faction, but holy moly, congratulations to the Misfits. A quick, super quick first match for ECW. Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mick McMichaels here once again. I am so excited to be here. And as promised, here's the graphic for the ECW Championship Tournament. Samoyd and Shant. Eric Samoyd is going up against Shant. Now let's remember, there's bad blood between these two guys too. And of course, tonight we will have Colossus versus Chad. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That match is happening right now. Here he comes, the fan favorite of ECW, Chad, an ex-YouTube champion, may I add. Again, it all goes to nothing here, ladies and gentlemen. All the titles are vacant. Mind you, we just crowned new tag team champions, so I guess not all titles are vacant, are they? So this is the first official match. Woo! Look at that, the voice is going already. Pull it together, bud! Woo! Of course, this is the first official match of the ECW Championship Tournament. That is a mouthful in itself. And of course, Chad being the first entrant into this tournament. Now, they have been picked, I'd like to say at random, but more so based on, have they held a title in the past? Have many of the competitors are on the upper tier, I would say, of ECW, if it's fair to say. I mean, I'm not the one that calls the shots around here. Of course, that is our GM, my buddy, Raymond Zender. But the 8 superstars that have been picked are based on... Of course, we're not going to put any new superstars into this match. Or into this tournament, I should say. So, and here comes Chad's opponent. The largest superstar in ECW, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember him, you will now. It's Colossus. That made no sense, but I'm okay with it. 7'2", over 500 pounds. This man is an absolute monster. A Colossus, if you want to say. Colossus, also an ex-YouTube champion, had feuds with the likes of Metaphor, like I mentioned earlier, or I may not have because my mind is completely in a blur at this point, we have a triple threat hardcore title match, and I think you know how hardcore title matches can go. If you've ever watched an episode of ECW, they're a doozy. So of course we have that coming up. We have our Hell in a Cell main event. When have you ever seen a Hell in a Cell main event on a regular show? I don't know, maybe you have, but not here, that's for sure. A Great American Bash rematch between possibly the biggest feud in all of ECW. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I got a match to call. And here we go. The first official match of the ECW Championship Tournament. It is Colossus versus Chad, and look at the size difference in the ring. Oh! But let me add that Chad does have a little bit of a speed advantage here. I know that. Chad gets around the ring like nobody's business. So, of course, the Misfits are our first ECW Tag Team Champions. Very excited to say that. They beat the faction. Later tonight, we will see another member of the faction, Eric Samoyd, up against his old friend, let me add, Shant. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you for joining us on this very, very special night. The very first episode, the return episode of ECW. We are finally here, and we are so glad to be back. And if you've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but I think the arena's looking pretty good, huh? Brand new banners around the ring. Of course, we got the new apron, the red, white, and black ropes. I think it's looking pretty sleek. Chad's still in control of this match now with an elbow to the back of the head of Colossus. Really in control of this match since the start, but that might be about to change, and it is not. Had me fooled. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, later tonight, let me add that we have finally crowned a CAW contest winner, which of course a couple months ago we had a CAW contest which many of you participated in. I would like to again personally thank each and every one of you who answered the questions. You guys know an incredible amount about ECW, and I had no clue. It honestly, when that contest was happening, I was astonished. And now Chad with a kick, and wait a second. Colossus, look at the power! Look at the power of Colossus there. My goodness, just picking Chad up and throwing him down to the mat like nothing, and that might be the turn of the tables there, ladies and gentlemen. And Colossus again slamming him down to the mat and stepping it. That is 500 plus pounds stepping onto your sternum. My goodness. Going back to what I was saying earlier, the CAW contest was just an amazing turnout. How many of you participated in that was just astonishing. And first of all, I had no idea you guys knew that much. They were skill testing questions for a reason, and it was meant to sort of narrow the pack, but don't get me wrong, you guys know a lot. So kudos to you, and thank you again for being such longtime fans. All we can give back to you is some good matches, which we hope you're getting tonight and for the remainder of the episodes of ECW. But like I said, the CAW contest winner will be announced later tonight, so we have that to look forward to. The hardcore title match, the Hell in a Cell, and I'm going to stop talking about later tonight and focus on what is happening right in front of my eyes. There's just so much to talk about. My goodness. Chad fighting his way back into this match. Slowly but surely. No, he's doing it again. Chad, no! Oh! Second time by Colossus. Just plowing Chad down to the mat, and now he goes for the pin. This could be it. 3, and that is it for Chad. And Colossus has won this match. Wow, look at that move. Once again, picking Chad up by the stomach and slamming him down. Chad in quite a bit of pain there. He may have broken a couple ribs, and that's never good to see, whether you like the guy or not, ladies and gentlemen. But regardless, we do have a winner. Fair and square, Colossus, the 7'2", 500-pound plus monster, is the first official winner of the ECW Championship Tournament. And my God, what a doozy that is. Holy moly. So he will be moving on to face whoever the winner is of Shant versus Eric Samoyd tonight, and that match will happen later tonight. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Devin Foolhardy. And I'll let Dale Herndon here, our backstage announcer, take it away. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, listen to that. Devin Foolhardy issuing a challenge to the newest member of the ECW. Of course, that's the CAW contest winner he is referring to. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our first ever newbie match in ECW. Of course, with a new episode comes new superstars in the ECW, and here we have Abraham Little. Now we have a fatal four-way match here with 4 brand spanking new ECW superstars. 4 exciting superstars to show you. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, this is Abraham Little, one of 4 newest competitors in the ECW. I unfortunately don't have more information on him, but I'm sure that'll develop as his career develops in the ECW. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, here in my notes we have JP Requirement, the second entrant into this fatal four-way match. Of course, with the 4 new superstars we have here, this is their chance to prove themselves to not only myself, but you, the fans, and gain your respect. JP Requirement walking down to the ring with some force. First entrant into the ring, Abraham Little. JP Requirement, a second one. It's always good to see fresh faces in ECW, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it's always good to see the old ones, but just as good to see the new. And now, our third entrant into the newbie match fatal four-way. And wow, look at the jacket on this guy. Woo! How many animals were killed for that? Holy moly. Melvin Moon, this guy goes under. Got some sweet hair to go with that jacket. This guy, at a glance, seems pretty full of himself, if I'm not mistaken. Hasn't put his damn arms down the entire time. And of course, if you want to make a name for yourself in the ECW, you got to start early. So, Melvin Moon. It's kind of got a little bit of a ring to it. Melvin stepping into the ring, the third entrant into our newbie match. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. As we saw Devin Foolhardy earlier, issuing a challenge to the CAW contest winner, who I would assume he's going up against later tonight, and you can catch that match later on tonight's episode. Oh my goodness! I did not see that coming. You know how I feel about pyro. Don't even get started on that. And here we go, our fourth entrant in the newbie match. And this man goes under the name Rory McCreary. And I've heard of this guy. He came right out of Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the nifty little music he's got here. And this is our fourth and final entrant into the Fatal 4-Way match for the newbie match. And again, this is an excellent opportunity for these men to prove themselves. As their first match in ECW for all of them. To be a winner in ECW is no easy feat. So here we go, all four competitors now in the ring. Quite impressive superstars. Let's see what they can do in front of the ECW fans and other superstars. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the newbie match, first ever newbie match for ECW. And this is exciting for me, as I'm sure it is for the fans. And as I'm sure the fans will want to be watching this, the ECW superstars probably want to be keeping an eye on this as well, as you never know in the ECW what can come of any superstars, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that with Eric Samoid on previous episodes, going from easily the bottom half of ECW to ECW champion overnight. If you recall the ECW Great American Bash, when he cashed in his Money in the Bank that he earned on the very same night. My goodness, what a night that was. Just like many other nights that we're going to have, I am so glad to be back. But of course, the four men in the ring right now in a fatal four-way match. Let me remind you, a fatal 4-way match is not a battle royal. Whoever gets the first 3 count will be the victor of this match, so easier said than done, of course. To reintroduce, of course, in the top corner there. And of course, I say top corner when everybody is there. That's wonderful. Of course, in the yellow and black, we have Abraham Little. And right now, he's being choked out by Melvin Moon with the pink hearts on the white tights. And on the right side, you have JP Requirement in the brown and tan vest. And oh, look at that. Elbow drop by Melvin Moon and Abraham Little right back up on his feet. That is great. JP with a huge suplex there to Rory McCreary, the man in the green kilt, straight from Scotland. It's great to see out-of-continent superstars, and that's a rope break there. European superstar in the ECW, of course, he is in the green kilt. First time I think we've seen somebody with a kilt in ECW, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, unless you're talking about George Bundy, which I believe he preferred to call that a dress. So now we have Melvin Moon knocking Rory McCreary out of the ring, and JP Requirement with a spinebuster to Abraham Little now in the corner, and a knee to the face. And Melvin Moon with a knee to the back returns the favor. And JP is not happy about that. Now Rory coming back into the ring quickly. And a body slam by Melvin Moon to get JP back down to the mat, followed up by a knee drop. Excuse me. So much more to come, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited for the rest of the night. Of course, we have that triple threat hardcore title match coming up very soon. And the CAW owner winner. Ooh. Scratch that. Redo. The CAW contest winner will be announced tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited for that as well. And now the superstars. Rory McCreary up to the top ropes, and a swinging DDT there by Abraham, but look at this. Top rope and wham! Damn! Melvin Moon's going to feel that, but look at this move by Abraham Little, not to take anything away. Spins around JP Requirement. Takes a lot of athleticism to do that, ladies and gentlemen. 4 superstars battling it out. And now a moonsault by Abraham Little coming down, and we got a pin here by JP, and just a 2 count to Rory. Wow, what a moonsault there, and he does it again! The athleticism on this Abraham Little guy, next level. Oh, and Abraham breaking up the pin there for the 3 count. Oh my God, and a super kick now by Melvin Moon, coming out of nowhere, catching JP off guard in 1, 2, Abraham, 3. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even keep up with that. Melvin Moon capitalizing on the situation there. Let's recap on that move by Rory. Just a quick second. Look at the impact there. But little did we know that would not matter at the end of this match, because Melvin Moon, with quick thinking and reflexes, capitalizing right here. Look at this impact. Wham! Holy moly, can we see that one more time? Yeah, closer angle. JP Requirement just getting out of the pin thanks to Abraham Little, but Melvin Moon right around the corner. Oh my God. That dentist bill is going to be very, very high. So Melvin Moon, ladies and gentlemen, is the victor of the Newbie match for ECW, the first ever Newbie match. And Melvin Moon goes home with the bragging rights and the victor of the Fatal 4-Way match that proved not to be easy for any 4 of these superstars. But what an intro for 4 very entertaining superstars in ECW, and wow, that was exciting. Melvin Moon, as we can see, quite the ego, my goodness. Could have another Devin Foolhardy on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking, oh, wait a second, who's this? We got somebody coming in the limo here, and who's coming out? Raymond Zender, ladies and gentlemen. The GM has arrived, my buddy, my pal. He's made some questionable choices in the past, but Devin Foolhardy, the CAW contest winner, has been finally chosen. And he is here, and he is going to make his debut on ECW tonight. And of course, we still have that massive Hell in a Cell match to come, Tyrant versus Brent. Ladies and gentlemen, he made his mark. He had his chat, and here he is, Devin Foolhardy. Of course, we saw him earlier tonight, ladies and gentlemen, talking about how he would knock the winner of the CAW contest out of ECW just as fast as he came in, and wow. For a guy that doesn't even know who his opponent is, those are some big words coming out of his mouth. Of course, Devin Foolhardy, a pioneer of ECW, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that. He has put his time in, was of course in the original ECW Championship tournament. Did not win the tournament, but he was in it. Has been with ECW since day one. So you can give Devin Foolhardy the bragging rights that he deserves, at least, for sticking with ECW for so long and serving the test of time, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, a long-performing superstar. Almost 7 or 8 years. I cannot believe it's been that long. And ladies and gentlemen, finally the time has come where we announce the ECW CAW contest winner for 2015. Many of you answered a series of skill testing questions that proved that not only are you fans of ECW, but you're knowledgeable fans of ECW. And once again, I'd like to personally thank everybody that participated in the CAW contest. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce, on behalf of ECW, the winner of the ECW CAW contest. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes now, the official winner of the CAW contest and newest addition to the ECW roster. His name is Mark Brandle, Devin Foolhardy's opponent, and of course the winner of the ECW CAW contest. The username is CAW Owner 54. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to congratulate you, CAW Owner 54, and thank you for being such a long-serving fan of ECW and knowing so goddamn much. So thank you once again for participating, everybody. This will not be the last CAW contest we hold, and we can only hope that Mark Brandle can live up to his name against easily one of the toughest superstars in ECW, Devin Foolhardy. So Mark Brandle, an official signing to the ECW roster, and I personally am very excited to see what this guy can do in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't seen too much action of him, but when you make it to the ECW roster, you're made of steel, bud. So, let's get down to this match already. Mark Brandle is just as excited as we all are to finally be in the ring, I am sure. And look at the intensity in those eyes. He is ready to go. And here we go. Devin Foolhardy versus Mark Brandle, the newest superstar. And Devin Foolhardy quickly taking down Mark Brandle, trying to establish. Oh, but wait a second now. Mark Brandle coming right back at Devin now with a little bit of taunting. You better be careful there, because Devin Foolhardy is a veteran, and he will capitalize on any situation, which we, of course, have seen in the past. Devin Foolhardy, of course, in a feud with TGO from DWF in the past. A long-time feud with TGO. So Foolhardy is not new to facing new ECW superstars and working them in, per se. Of course, he was not victorious. Oh, what a move there by Mark Brandle. And wait a second, taunting right in Foolhardy's face, saying, I am not afraid of you, my man. We are on equal playing ground, even though I'm in your field. Mark Brandle, of course, keeping up. Oh my God, what a back and forth match to start this off already. Devin Foolhardy and Brandle now in a lockup. Who's going to come out victorious of this one? And it's going to be Foolhardy. Oh my goodness, and a spinning maneuver, spinning clothesline, excuse me, by Brandle, taking Foolhardy down to the mat. Now I'm sure Foolhardy didn't expect this much. Now we got a pin. Just a 1 count there by Brandle. Didn't expect this much resistance for a superstar that is supposedly new to ECW. But let me remind you, Devin, he is not new to CAW Wrestling. Oh my God, what a move! I have never seen that in my life. I don't even know what to call it. Smashing Devin's face onto the turnbuckle and a missile drop kick. Not a drop kick. Looked like it was going to be, but it was a kick nonetheless. And now, full of taunts is Brandle, waiting for Foolhardy to get up. And what do we got here? Turning him around. Look at this. Is this electric chair drop? Oh my goodness. What a move there by Mark Brandle. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Foolhardy able to kick out right at the last second. And what a move there by Mark Brandle. What a name this superstar is making for himself in his debut match. And now, going up to the top ropes. And down again with a knee drop. And Devin Foolhardy's in trouble. Devin Foolhardy is in a lot of trouble as Brandle putting him through a world of hurt. And look at this again. Jumping right back up. The athleticism on this superstar is impressive. Keep an eye on this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Brandle making a name for himself in the ring. And now what do we have here? Another suplex. Oh my God, and he's getting right back up. Damn! Right back down to the mat goes Foolhardy. And once again, for a third time, the athleticism on Mark Brandle cannot be matched right now. And again, Foolhardy, look out, buddy. Turn around. And now Brandle with another move. And what? Oh my God! Holy moly! I don't even know what to call that, as it's Brandle's first match, but 1, 2, and is this gonna... Oh my God! Oh my God! Mark Brandle, ladies and gentlemen, completely handling Devin Foolhardy. Completely handling Devin Foolhardy at the end of that match. And taking him down. Look at this. Triple suplex there by Brandle. Just the power and athleticism to throw him around the ring. And look at this move again. I'm going to have to find out what we call that. Oh my goodness. Mark Brandle with the 3 count and the victory in his very first ECW match. Now, if that isn't how you make an impression, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is. Taking Devin Foolhardy down for the count, and Devin will not be happy about that, ladies and gentlemen. Holy moly. And that right there is your CAW contest winner and newest superstar in ECW, Mark Brandle. And expect big things from this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Quite an impressive debut. Nonetheless, against Devin Foolhardy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mick McMichaels here reporting live for ECW. So glad you could join us once again. We have so much still to come, and I can't believe I'm even saying that. So much to come, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have the Triple Threat Hardcore title match. And of course, we have that massive Hell in a Cell match. Tyrant versus Brent. A long-time feud in ECW. But first, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to return for part 2. You stick around.